Hi, this is Catherine with Foods That Heal You, and today I'm going to give you 4 tips to making your coffee healthier. I know some of you are avid coffee drinkers. Of course, you know it's not a health food, but if we can make it healthier, anytime we can make something healthier, I'm going to help you try to do that. So the first tip is going to be cold press your coffee, and or cold brew. You might have already heard of this, so I'm just going to demonstrate really quick or show you how you do that. But what the cold brewing does is it reduces the acidity in your coffee by a huge amount, and that's really important because one of the downsides of coffee is the acidity. And when you cold brew it, it's going to be a richer, fuller taste anyway. So what we use in my house is I'm not an avid coffee drinker, but my husband is, and so he's my guinea pig. If he says it tastes good, then I figure most of you are going to think it tastes good. So we use a cold press, we fill it up with some water, some purified water, add the coffee grounds, let it sit overnight, strain it the next morning, pour it into a pan on the stove to warm it up, and there you have your hot coffee. Or you can just strain it and put ice in it if you prefer iced coffee. So it's just going to brew room temperature overnight. So that's the first tip, is to cold brew, and I have a whole article on how to do that. And I'm going to give you details on how much coffee we actually do in ratio to the water if you're somebody who wants to do just one serving at a time and not do a big bulk. The second tip is to use organic coarse ground coffee, and I'm going to show you here what I mean by coarse ground, because you know when you do, this is what the coarse ground looks like. When you do the fine ground, that's what you use when you brew it the normal way, but you don't want to use finely ground coffee when you cold brew it. And so the second tip though is organic is really important because there are tons of pesticides, herbicides in coffee beans, so you definitely don't want to be putting that in your body. If you can get organic, that's awesome. We have Bulletproof. It's considered beyond organic, and it's actually designed for cold brewing, but you don't have to get Bulletproof. Just make sure that you coarsely ground organic coffee. And of course, this is caffeinated because, well, he wants caffeine. It's just that simple. But if you can do decaffeinated, they do use chemicals to decaffeinate, but although they use the chemicals, it's going to be better than the caffeinated for those of you who are struggling with adrenal fatigue. Caffeine will absolutely wipe you out if you have stress and adrenal fatigue, so consider decaf in that situation. So first tip, cold brew. Second tip, organic. Third tip is going to be something I tried recently that he approved of, and that is Ticino. Now, some people use this as a coffee replacement, but he said it's not a good coffee replacement. Other people say it is, whatever. So what I decided to do was do half Ticino and half of the Bulletproof coffee. That way it's half decaf. And the Ticino is an herbal coffee, so it's actually healthy and good for you. So now I'm cold brewing to remove the acid, I'm using organic, and I'm adding something healthy instead of decaf coffee. So instead of half and half regular and decaf coffee, this is now my half decaf coffee. The Ticino, you can get different flavors. It flavors it naturally, which is really nice as well. So that's the third tip. The fourth tip is going to be use non-dairy creamer. And what I have here is coconut creamer. I think, it still has some additives or whatever. It's not going to be perfect. In a perfect world, you wouldn't add anything. And some of you, with that Ticino, you might not need to add anything because you're going to have the coffee taste and some of the flavoring taste from that's natural. But if you do want to add a creamer, I recommend like coconut creamer or almond milk creamer. Really, I would just stay away from dairy. It's acidic, mucus forming, it's got IGFs in it, it feeds cancer. It's just not good, and I should be careful about saying that it feeds cancer, but there's a lot of studies that show that dairy is just extremely unhealthy. And if you're just putting a little bit in every day, I understand that it might not sound like much, but if you add it up, if you're drinking coffee every day and you're adding that dairy up, add the tablespoon up. After a week, you've got 7 tablespoons, which is a half a cup or something. Anyway, it just adds up. So if you can just switch over to the coconut creamer, it's actually pretty good according to my husband. Then that would be a really great place to start as well. So those are your 4 tips. Hope this is helpful, and click like if it was. If you have questions, you can always email me at foodsthathealyou@gmail.com and check out my website, foodsthathealyou.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.